I think so far what I've seen is everything pointing to the fact that the president is ready to do business. And looking at it from so many perspectives, you can understand that he has hit the ground running. I'm looking at it from two perspectives. The caliber of people he had put into, he want to nominate for these positions. And that is from the point of view of those individuals. There are people with experience, the experience not necessarily in politics. Those with political experience, we can see them. Those with academic experience and professional experience, bringing them onto this type of business. Then you have those people with a lot of backgrounds in terms of their competence and skills from where they come from. In politics, you don't necessarily need somebody who has been political or partisan in political activities before you appoint them. You can appoint anybody fresh, provided he has what it takes to be able to manage public office. And remember that he is not the only person who is going to do the work. There are bureaucrats who are going to help him to navigate his way through that terrain. And all that a minister has to do is that you are alert about what the work you are going to do, but at the same time, you have a listening ear to listen to the technocrats for suggestions and ideas. So from personal perspective of those he has you want to put into office, I can say that it's something interesting, and we are looking forward to that. In terms of constitutional and other requirements, you can see this appointment having a manifestation in that regard. Let's look at the issue of gender, which my brother, Dr. Sain, has already alluded to. You can see gender featuring, and it's part of the requirement from our rules and regulation regarding ministerial appointment. Gender, he's trying to do his bit, and I have no doubt in my mind that he can go beyond the 30%. I have no doubt the way he has started. But even if he should stop at 30, we are home and dry. But as children of Oliver, we want more. I would have wished that we can get about 40% of women in parliament so that we encourage a lot of women in public offices and in partisan politics. They have a lot to share, except that we have not taken advantage and tapped into their expertise for the benefit of society. Apart from gender, the Constitution requires us to be able to have a regional balance. And if you look at them, they come from various regions, and it's giving that picture for us that he also respects that provision in the Constitution and all that. We are also seeing the issue of what competence and experience bringing to bear in this regard. Take, for instance, somebody like Haruna Idrisu. He has seen it all in terms of politics and in terms of even academic life and the rest of them. I have no doubt in my mind that going into one of the biggest ministries in Ghana, in fact, the number one ministry in terms of its size and expenditure and all that, education ministry. He has been able to acquit himself very well with his political offices that he has held, former minister, former minority leader, and then being an MP and all that. Remember, when he was a student at the University of Ghana, he was the NUCS president. He's very familiar with the academic terrain, as NUCS were always having conversation and discussion with authorities managing the country's universities. So he has had a lot of experience in that regard. So he's coming with a wealth of experience from academic standpoint of view, from professional standpoint of view as a lawyer, and then from a partisan political point of view. He has seen it all. So I have no doubt in my mind that he will live up to expectation. All that he has to do is that he avails himself to the direction and then discussion from his colleagues in the ministry. I'm talking about the bureaucrats, so that they can guide him to navigate his way through this difficult terrain. And
Doc, please make that the final point so that we can we can also let the conversation flow.
Yeah, the last bit I want to say is that if you look at the type of appointment, it is a blend between the old guards and new guards, so that the young one can learn under the feet of the old guards. And this bears resemblance with what President Kufuor did in his tenure. You saw senior moves, experienced people holding the fort, and then young people, Abubakar Siddiq and the rest, learning under their feet. And in no time, they also learned the ropes well and took up with the mantle. So I can see that. And if you are very much alive to politics in Ghana, you can see the kind of people he's bringing, even behind the scenes, and who are also actively supporting Guzi Tano, Tutubi Kwache, and the rest. These are people who graduated from the PNDC onto the NDC, and they have a wealth of experience that they want to bring to bear. And once a while, they throw one of them into ministerial positions, and the rest they hide behind. So you realize that it's a conscious effort to get things done.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. Let me go to Dr. John Osai-Kwapon. I mean, Doc has already alluded to Mahama's, striking a balance between bringing in fresh new faces and relying on seasoned politicians. But in your expert opinion, how does this, the appointments and nominations we are seeing so far, how does it compare with previous administrations in terms of generational leadership changes and continued reliance on veteran politicians?
You see a mix, you see a mix of both. Every administration wants to strike a balance between bringing in experienced hands, people who have worked with them in government before, even if they were serving in a different kind of portfolio, right? That you still need the experience. At the same time, you also could use some fresh faces, some new hands who could bring a different kind of thinking, a different way of approaching governance. So you want a blend of the two. The experienced people become important mentors to your new hands in terms of how you navigate the difficult terrain of trying to govern and trying to implement policy. So you see some of that. You also see inclusion of people who are strong party people, because you also need to add that dimension of ensuring that you get the politics and the party relationships right. Because there's governing is not just about policy and program implementation. You also have to make sure that you can manage the politics and get the politics right. So you do see administrations tending to do what you're seeing here, which is experienced new persons, party people, and as the Constitution also requires, having a majority of them coming from Parliament. Which
so the president is not doing anything new?
Not anything new in the sense of how he's approaching it, right? I mean, the gender balance thing is extremely commendable, but in terms of the strategy of getting, balancing experience with new faces, fresh hands, ensuring that you have party people as well to help you govern, I think has been a well-established strategy that most of, previous administrations have tried to do.
Right. With the conversation about, rewarding party loyalists with some of the appointments, how does this really, shape the perception of citizens in terms of trusting this administration's competence to move us forward?
Well, you can't move away also from having party loyalists in your government, right? Every president needs a group of people that he or she can really trust to help him or her govern. And so you will definitely have to tend to some persons in your party to help you do that. We've seen that from administration to administration. The key thing is, even though loyalty is prized, so long as you're not putting loyalty above competence. Again, it's striking that balance between this person is competent enough, but I also know that I can trust this person, to implement my policy ideas, my agenda, and all of that. So for me, no matter what, you would have to, every administration would have to tend to its most trusted people to help them, to help them govern.
Right. Ben?
Let me bring in